Welcome back to the Hockey Show, and the Seattle Kraken have plunged the Colorado Avalanche 20,000 leagues under the sea to Davy Jones' locker, and they win their first ever series victory against the defending Stanley Cup champions. And I saw this one coming. I called it, and I knew it because depth beats a lack thereof, and some superstars can't win the day. We've seen it before. It's a tale as old as time that one man cannot win the day, except if it's a fairy tale. And we're not in a fairy tale. We're in real life, and the Kraken have plunged and plundered and rifled and loot. Cheer up, me jolly ho! I don't know. Anyways, Kraken win 2-1 in their Game 7 against Colorado in Denver there, and winning it. I think, is that like their three of their 4 wins were away, weren't they? I think so. Yeah, one was home. One, yeah, I think Seattle won 3 of their 4 away, so that's kind of crazy to think of. But they win it, and Grubauer and Seattle's depth and a little bit of luck wins them this series, and it's not surprising. It just, from game one was interesting because Colorado, you could tell they weren't all there. It was like Seattle was in charge. I gotta say, the Avs' top guys, when they were on the ice, number 29, 8, and 96, when those 3 guys were on the ice, they were in control. They were in charge of the game. They were on fire. They're onslaught, slaughter type play of hockey. They're shove it down your throat, cycle the puck in the zone, Taves to Makar's shot, off the pads, off the board, something like that. McKinnon gets it, wrap around, Rantanen shoot it, Lehkonen, Rodriguez, whoever it is, shoots it on net, rebound, shuffle the puck, get it back to the top. That onslaught, slaughter of just non-relentless need to score and just killing the other team in their offensive zone is huge, right? And it worked so well for them. But when they weren't on the ice, when number 49, when Girard, Comfer, Nichushkin, who wasn't really even playing most of the series, all of the guys, all the way down the lineup, they were not a factor on the ice. They were not there. So just here, look at this. From Girard with 2 points to Comfer, down to Newhook, down to Nichushkin, but I know there's other reasons, but still technically a part of it. When you go from those guys down the list to like guys like Eric Johnson, right? You go all the way down that list there. Dennis Malgin, Cogliano. Those guys had 2 points or less, and that is a lot of the team. Sure, guys like Rantanen with 10 points, guys like McKinnon, I think he had 8 points or something like that. They're up there and they're producing, right? But it makes sense. Those guys were producing. It was everybody else out there on the ice. Going to skip a little head down here. Colorado, when their top guys were on the ice, they were on fire, right? But they played 20 to 30 minutes of the game. 20 to 30 minutes of the game. So that's a period to almost half the entire 60 minutes of a regulation hockey game, right? Then you get to overtime, then you see the numbers get to like the 40s almost. But just on a regular, most of the game, going off just regulation, those guys are playing a period to almost half the game every night. Those minutes are fine. All those guys, McKinnon, Rantanen, Makar, those guys are all in the pluses. They're up to +5, +4. They're doing great out there, right? But it's the other 40 to 30 minutes on the ice that is what was killing the Colorado Avalanche. Because all those guys, Girard with the lowest -4, to Comfer, I think he was like a 0 or a -1 or something like that, to Newhook being like a -3, right? Those guys on the ice, when they were out there, they were getting scored on. They weren't able to keep the puck out of the, well, they were, but it's not like it was an onslaught by the Kraken. But that is what was their downfall, was all those other minutes of the ice, which is what won them the Stanley Cup last year. Of course, they're missing Manson from this run, and Landeskog being, both those guys being injured. But last year, with guys like Kadri and Burakovsky, they had more guys to roll out there on the ice. Guys like Lehkonen weren't a factor. Georgiev, especially in net, was not good enough as a goaltender. I mean, he was good. He was definitely not like a bad goaltender to win the playoffs. And now they're out of it. They are out of the playoffs. Georgiev was not there to make those saves, those timely saves. And I hate saying that to sound like a commentator, but that's what it is. Those saves that win you the game, or not just win you the game, but keep you in the series. This game against Game 7 against the Kraken. Bjorkstrand, sure, he was absolutely on fire and he won the Kraken the game along with Grubauer. But at the same time, a lot of those shots off the crossbar, off the post, and the ones that actually did get in the back of the net, Georgiev, even in Game 1, he was giving up bad goals, lame duck goals that should never have gone in the back of the net in the first place. And it wasn't the fault of the defense. It wasn't the fault of anybody else. They're getting, I think they're one of the lowest shots against in the entire, no, that, something like, I don't know. Georgiev was giving up a lot of bad goals that he should have far and away not have been let in the back of the net. Just should not be. And some goals, yeah, you can't blame for everything. I'm definitely not. But a lot of the goals, just simple shots that were like, man, that is a bad goal. The one, I think, was it Tolvanen? I can't remember, but in like Game 2 where Tanev, puck goes off his pad up to no man's land at like the top of the circles. Just a simple shot, top shelf, like there's no screenage really. He should have really have had that one. And those are the type of goals that just kept going on and getting past him. The goals that Bjorkstrand scored, even the ones that went off the post, those are the ones that I feel like Bjorkstrand was absolutely on fire, but he needs to make some of those saves. And the defense, you can't blame them. They were shutting guys down, but the Kraken's forecheck is what won them the day most of the time. They'd go in there, and so many times back of the net, they're jamming up on the boards behind the net. They get the puck out, pass it up to the middle, and they would score. A lot of those in the slot goals is what happened, and that is another key. Is Seattle, they had every man going on the ice, unlike Colorado, where guys like Dennis Malgin, where you'd hear his name every once in a while, and it was like, well, who cares? Cogliano, he's only important because he got his neck broken by a player, which everyone's freaking out about, which is not a reason they lost the series. And those guys, Cogliano, Helm, Malgin, these guys, Lars Eller. What is Lars Eller as your pickup? Sure, he's got the experience, but the guy went 20 games this season without a single point. I could play 20 games in the season, at least get something. The guy's 30-something and couldn't get a point in Washington for so many games, and you trade for him to build up your team? No way he's getting any job done out there. So you're building up your team around these guys who've got nothing in the tank and nothing going for them. Sure, guys like Darren Helm, he scored one of the best goals of all time, and you could see him last season against the Blues when he got that game-winning goal that sent them to the next round. Those are what you get guys for like Helm and Malgin out there for, is for those last minute, the other teams, the guys are absolutely dead tired, and you put them out there on the ice, and you haven't played them a lot. They haven't even played 10 minutes yet, and they go out there, they got a lot of juice, and Darren Helm, it's not like he's an absolute nobody. He can pull out some move and a good shot, and that's what he's out there for. In these type of games, Lars Eller, he's not there to win you games, and they are all so bad. The Kraken's guys, all four lines, all three defense, going out there, they're buzzing, they're looking for the goals, and they were able to capitalize on their few chances that they got. And that was their biggest key, is that when they got an opportunity, the Kraken scored. I like to think about it like this, where the Kraken, they would say, let's say they have 10 opportunities, a scoring chance, which I hate how they keep track of those, but let's say they have 10 good chances to score, right? And out of those 10, they had 5, let's say they have 3 prime chances to actually score, grade A chances. They would score on those. The Avalanche, they would get 20 scoring chances, and 10 of them would be prime chances. But then Philip Grubauer, the biggest reason they lost this series, was there to make those saves where Georgiev wasn't. Georgiev wasn't there to make those 3 amazing saves that he needs to make a night. He let those ones get past him. Grubauer, on the other hand, the Avalanche would have 10 grade A chances, and he would shut them all down except 2. And that is what won them the day. Is Philip Grubauer is playing it, and I don't know if it's because it's his old team or if he's actually in it for the biscuit for the series. I don't know what it is, but Grubauer, I personally have said it a lot that I'm not the biggest believer in him, but he has turned me around. The German brute, looking like a god in that net, stopping everything. I mean, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. The guy was a freaking beast. He won them this series, and the Kraken with Grubauer and their depth being able to being able to beat the Avalanche for those 40 minutes where those top guys weren't on the ice, getting all the momentum out there. And I gotta say, by the end of it, guys like McKinnon and stuff, you gotta start thinking, like, sure, no one on the Kraken's anywhere near as good as McKinnon or Rantanen or Makar, right? No one on the Kraken is. But you gotta think, after these 7 games of those guys playing for almost half the game every single night, that the Kraken is, like, wised up to their moves, their antics. You don't think, because you start to imagine playing against your friend on NHL or Call of Duty or something, right? You're 1v1ing them, whatever. You start to understand what their moves are. When you're playing NHL, you know that your friend really likes to make that one outlet pass and try to skate right up the middle of the ice, and then once he gets to a certain point, peel back and pass it, right? You know that. You get to learn that. When those guys are playing against McKinnon, those guys, sure, they're not able to keep up with them, they're not able to skate with them, but they know how to prepare for it after 7 games, and they're professional athletes getting paid millions. You don't think they finally realize, okay, McKinnon's going to skate in the corner, he's going to do his little shuffle thing, we're going to see that coming, we know where we need to be, we're going to adjust to that, and they finally did. They're shutting the guys down throughout the series, slowly getting there. Sure, eventually, those guys are too quick, and they're able to get a couple goals in the back of the net, but in Game 7, where it really mattered, they were able to shut them down, and when they didn't, Grubauer did, and that's the main thing, is that they were finally able to adjust, and when they couldn't adjust enough, Grubauer was there to make the save. And that just, the ship sinks. The Avalanche will no longer be able to win this series. They won't be able to go back-to-back. They lose round 1, first ever time the defending Stanley Cup champions lose to an expansion team in their second year. And it's not surprising. I called it. I said this was going to happen. I knew it. I could tell you that their lack of depth was not going to be able to win them today. Because after so long, after so many minutes of playing, that those guys, they're not going to be able to score all of those goals. McKinnon's great. Rantanen's great. Makar is the best defenseman in the world. Maybe not this year, but is the best in the world in general. But they're not McDavid and Draisaitl. They're not that good. They're not as good as those two guys, and they could not overcome the depth. All 18 players of the Kraken towards their 3, and that's really the key, is that 3 players could not beat the 18, and it's not surprising. It's just not surprising. McDavid and Draisaitl couldn't do it. At least the rest of the Oilers are actually trying, and that is the main difference. Is the 3 guys on that team. I feel bad for McKinnon and Rantanen and Makar because they deserve all the Stanley Cups. They deserve all the awards. But the team around them that Joe Sakic put together was just not it. They can't do it. They couldn't do it. Guys like Byram only getting 3 points, I believe. That's just not good enough to win a Stanley Cup. Last season, you saw guys like Manson, every single D pairing, stepping up, getting shots in, and producing offense. Kadri, Burakovsky, Landeskog. I know it's not their fault that Landeskog's not playing, but losing those type of players to free agency, it drowned them. It drowned them. Last year, they had all of their guys humming out there. But this season, only 3 of them were, and they just couldn't get over the hill. And that's all I really got to say. The Kraken move on, and they are playing up against Dallas, which was the series I was hoping for. So I'm excited to see that one. All their games between each other was so good during the season that I cannot wait to see Dallas versus the Kraken. I'm going to make the video previewing that tomorrow, and I'm going to do another one from the Eastern Conference tomorrow as well. So that's all I got to say. Let's go, Kraken. Sending them to Davy Jones' locker. And that is so exciting and refreshing to say because it was such a good game, such a great series to watch, and it was fantastic. So, I guess really all I got to say is during the beginning of this series, I should have said it, but through the Avalanche, do you feel death? Because you should have, because you died. You're dead. You're down in the Davy Jones locker, and the Kraken move on. So that's all I got to say. Thank you for watching this. If you've made it this far, please pick up your free subscription. I'm begging you, please. And until next time, too sweet. Have an amazing day. Let's go, Kraken. The Avalanche suck. They're going into mediocrity, and your team is terrible. So thank you so much, and ta-ta for now.